My people were biologically determined for one purpose alone: to slowly drive Sean Parada mad.
Hello, and welcome to a Discovery Home Companion. Your home.
Oh boy!
You say the same thing over and over again.
Yep.
You find ways to modulate it.
Got to shake it up.
Just for me, you know. Yeah. Anyways,
I'm impressed.
a Discovery Home Companion. Your home. Well, our home. We're at home. Or not at home, as the case might be. We're all over the place. My name is Wade Bowen, and with me, as has been regular this season of Disco Home, we have Glenn Hall.
Hey everyone, glad to be here. Did not watch this episode. Well, didn't finish this episode.
Yeah, well,
Watch most of it.
Most of it, yeah, yeah.
Like 90%.
Okay, cat's out of the bag. We really some of us doubt your commitment to sparkle motion there, Glenn. Except that we don't.
And no
also,
one more than myself.
And no. We're having a good time. And also, Sean Parada.
What up? I watched the fuck out of this episode, and
Yeah.
fuck this episode.
Oh, wait a minute. You're the guy that likes this. I thought you were down for it.
I know, and truly, it's fine. I don't. I've reached. I imagine that like watching a season of Star Trek, because this is my first time, is like the like stages of grief, and I've reached ambivalence. Is that a stage of grief?
Let's say it is. It's
Depends
what
on
it
how
is.
you cared for the person.
Right. Yeah. And boy, I have become like so much shit happened in this episode, and I don't care. I don't understand. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I'm watching the episode, and like, I saw Spock's beard, and I got mad, and I saw little baby Michael talking about supernovas, and I was like, what a fucking nerd. So I was like, I'm watching Star Trek, like, this is how I watch it. And then, like, stuff kept happening, and, like, people were taken over, and just people died, and stuff happened. And at some point, I was like, do I give a shit at all?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
I feel a little better about my reaction to the episode because I thought, well, I'm traveling, I'm watching it on my phone, and like a lot of other stuff's going on while I'm traveling, and so I thought, maybe I'm just not like sitting down and really watching and being invested in this. But seems like that is just the way this episode unfolded.
Oh my god.
I guess.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. I love this episode. No, I didn't. I didn't.
Wouldn't that have been great?
Yeah.
That's what we need for Wade to be like, this was the best episode.
I know, but we've talked a little bit beforehand, and I think y'all already know.
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah.
I guess I'm confused because like they did to me, maybe I'm wrong, but like the one where they go into like the Mushroom Kingdom and they find the guy and they bring him back. That was like a big episode, like
yes.
there haven't been
It was an
a ton
event.
of like this was the other like big event episode, like where the we're in the end game now, like stuff is really like moving forward. And I thought the Mushroom Kingdom episode they did well. Like I thought that episode like they managed to do an event in a way that I cared about. And that episode has problems. All these episodes have problems.
Sure.
But like I thought they executed an event, like and made me like give a shit about the way it was going to change the status quo, and now like this episode happens and I just sort of I was like, all right, I guess we're really fighting with control now.
Yeah, and
Fine.
I mean this one was like, I think my problem was like I think it's because we've settled into the end game, and the episodes that I liked weren't about the arc of the season.
Right.
They were like about like the
Saru's
Kelpians.
hometown. Yep.
Yeah, I mean that was my favorite. Was
Agreed.
Yeah, that was a really good episode.
and I haven't been timid about saying how much I hate the fucking Red Angel storyline and the Seven Signals, just concept wise.
Right.
And now we're really buckling down into the Red Angel storyline. The Seven Signals get kind of waved away, like she's like, I don't know anything about that. So that's maybe
That seems what an insane choice. What a bonkers choice for them to be like, so tell us about the Seven Signals, and she's like, I don't know her. Like, really?
Yeah.
It's what's the emoji? Not the emoji, but like
The shrugging lady?
the shrugging thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like, are you out of your fucking minds?
It's so that they can have another big...
Right, this is where those came from.
What about this reveal? So they're, they've got 4 episodes left, and this series, since the beginning, has been all about, like, but what about this reveal? That, like...
Yeah.
At first season, it was like, oh my god, he's a Klingon. It's like, no shit, we knew he was a fucking Klingon.
Right.
The mirror universe, a lot of people picked up on. This one, it's your mother, Michael. That was, I guess, a genuine surprise, but also like...
Yeah,
I guess a genuine surprise because what we talked about last episode, that they told us over and over that it had to be her. And then in this episode, like, unless something changes in the next 3 episodes, which it certainly could, they just hand-waved all that away. You know, like, they did not... That's not because she's a clone. That's not because, like, stuff was manipulated. Yeah. It's just because they have similar brainwaves. Like,
by the way, your mitochondrial DNA with your down the maternal line is the same.
Sean, I think you
with moms are the same.
Sean, I think you expressed despair at the idea that, like, they would basically say, well, mothers and daughters just have the same brainwaves. That's just how it works.
Right.
And that's basically what they said.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. If last episode they said there's an 80% chance it's you and you have no living biological relatives, so we're certain it's you, I would have been so fine with that. It would have telegraphed that it was her mom, but it wouldn't have led us down this road where it being not her mom feels like cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like they cheated.
Well, this show, like I said, this show in its existence has been all about propping up the next, like, but aren't you surprised? And so by saying I don't know her for the 7 signals, it's like, so that they can have another surprise at the end that it's
right.
And
fuck, I don't care.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out ways that we could make this a little bit more interesting, since we all seem to be a little less involved.
Yeah,
in this. So instead of, I don't know if this is going to work. We kind of joked around about doing it.
I'm so excited.
Instead of doing a detailed synopsis, I guess we can just go scene by scene and just kind of do a little play.
I love it. Yeah,
see if we can figure out what was happening.
Sure.
In this episode.
Hey, we're all trained improvisers.
Yeah.
Oh boy, out of practice trained improvisers.
Yeah. Hey. So I mean, this isn't. We're not doing heralds here or anything. So
third beats. No strong third beats.
No strong third beats.
What's the game?
The game is remember this episode.
All right, yeah, that's fair. Oh boy, that's a strong game.
Yeah, because it's like the first scene is Michael's waking up.
Yes.
in sick bay. Who wants to be Michael?
Well, I know it's me, wasn't it? I know it couldn't possibly have been me because. It couldn't possibly have been my mother because that would just be crazy. I must have been dreaming. That's the logical thing.
No, look. Oh, hi, it's me, Dr. Culber. I'm out of my sexy black entourage blazer, and here I'm back in uniform because that happened in the last 5 hours. Nope, it was your mama.
What?
So
you mean it was my mother? Whatever.
Okay, well, maybe this isn't gonna.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Was my acting too good?
You know what? I think mine. Hey, I'm Culber. was what turned.
I committed, man.
Everybody, it's me, Captain Pike. It was your mom.
Well, this just is making me feel this so much.
See, that's not the Michael Burnham I know. It's more like, what do you mean? It's my mom. What about my dad?
She was losing her mind in that.
Yeah,
scene.
she definitely.
She's alive. No, wait.
She tried to. Do we want to continue with the improvised Star Trek?
Probably not.
Probably not. Sorry.
Maybe we can weave in and out.
I've been back in uniform 5 hours, and I have to tell you,
that was insane.
Your mitochondrial DNA is the same as your mom. Sorry, I fucked up. But then she died. Yeah, I heard.
She said that
Leland! She just shouted Leland.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh boy.
She was just repeating she died over and over. She's like, she died.
Yeah.
She died. Like, and then she just pulls someone random walking by. She died.
Right.
Like, don't you know that she died?
Ma'am, I'm just the janitor. I don't know who died.
I mean, I don't want to shit talk. She's in shock because she thought her mom was dead.
Yeah, no.
Time.
I'm cool with that. That demanded a big, wild performance,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
she went into her dying animal mode. You know,
Yeah.
we've seen that mode.
What about my father? It's like, no, he's still dead. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
God, she was such a fucking dork in that flashback.
Oh yeah.
She really, yeah.
So she was 10 years old. She says, my mom's been dead since I was 10, and she's had so many different moms.
Right.
oh, like actors playing the mom.
No, just so many moms. Her mom died.
her mom and lady from the L Word.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Then
Spock mom.
Spock's mom she calls her mom Spock.
Yeah.
I mean, I come from a broken home. My mom remarried when I was 7. That guy's not my dad.
Right.
I mean, some people, every family's different. So I'm not going to say that somebody that could come in a step, but she's she remembers her mom and your foster mom. I
guess if Spock parents did a better job being her parents, maybe she wouldn't have had such a strong connection to her biological parents still.
But she's got a pretty strong bond to Amanda. She calls her mother and stuff. And then
that's true.
And then Captain Georgiou is another mother figure.
Yeah.
So
am I can I just we're jumping because fuck this episode. Did I miss something from season 1 that would indicate why Georgiou has such a strong connection to Michael? Because they are playing that up hard.
Well, so Michael and Prime Universe.
Prime. That's the thing. You could understand why she's so bonded to Prime Universe.
Yeah.
Georgiou, but
okay,
making evil Emperor Georgiou so bonded to Michael is kind of she's a space Hitler, dude. She's a mega space Hitler. She's killed billions of people with no remorse.
Right,
she
but
did
Michael
raise,
is the one thing that humanizes her.
Right. She did raise Michael, evil Michael, herself, and so she's got some bond to her, but she's raised as a space Hitler that kills people willy-nilly.
Right.
She killed her other daughters of hers, but she's bonded to Michael, not even her own Michael, but this alternate Michael she's suddenly very bonded to.
Well, yeah, and that was a big thing in the Mirror Universe storyline is that Georgiou, even though she didn't know Prime Universe Michael, she still was about to sacrifice her life for her. So it's actually kind of funny. I did kind of like the moment with Georgiou and Michael's mom, where Dr. Burnham says, you've given your life to save Michael many times. He goes, oh, you're thinking about the Prime Universe me, who's not hardcore like I am.
And all I've ever really wanted from any Mirror Universe storylines is for the Mirror Universe people to learn something, which Lorca did not know.
That's what we keep coming back to.
Which it's nice that they're going through the motions of having an evil emperor learn something about caring and loving Michael, but it's she's a space Hitler. She still needs to be held accountable. But
that's the thing. They're telling us that her bond with Michael is causing her to become more empathetic and more
a better
human
person and everything.
But we're not seeing that at all. That work is not being done on the show.
And I don't care if she does become a good person.
Right.
She's a space Hitler. She needs to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Well, right. That's the thing. If we didn't already know she was getting a spinoff, I would certainly assume that she was gonna die in the end of this season for Michael. I would assume that's
that would be
what was gonna happen. And I guess we know that's not gonna happen. And that's insane.
And I'm torn because I do love Michelle Yeoh.
I love her so much. I never want her to leave.
And her being all horny for everybody, I mean, is, there's the evil bisexual tropes that are kind of weird to do. You thought that Star Trek learned from that, but it's so much fun and having her not be totally evil, except...
Right.
you know, I'm torn because I want to root for her too, but like, come on, she's a space Hitler.
I know. She's a monster, yeah.
Like, Hitler times 1,000. Yeah.
You know, she's like an absolute monster. And for the show to introduce her as like a plot vehicle for Michael, you know, to like sacrifice herself for Michael, to do these things, to be like Michael's steward, is like, well, it feels like we're just glossing over a lot of the work season 1 did, which seems to be the mission statement for season 2 a lot of the time.
Sure, which is fair.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that from what I've heard about season 1.
Right.
But it is frustrating. I don't feel like they've earned where she's at.
Yeah. I think that's valid. It seems like they skipped several steps.
Yeah.
Let me ask a semantics question that I don't usually ask. Let me get into the nitty-gritty a little bit. And I will refuse to accept any answer you give me. How did Control get Leland into that chair?
That's a very good question I didn't think of.
Force fields and...
Nope, I don't accept. We have established that Control does not have a physical form. That Control exists in holograms and then takes Leland's physical form. How the fuck did Control get Leland in that chair?
I have a theory. I'll hear it.
I will not accept it.
Can I share it?
Nano machine.
You should.
Yeah, please do.
Well, I just remember from season 1, who was the semi-evil second mate for Lorca, Wade? What was her name?
Who
was full evil in the mirror universe?
Yeah, but Rekha Sharma played her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the character that Rekha Sharma played, she's mauled by this giant tardigrade, water bear in an early episode.
She gets moisturized. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
another shock death. Like, bam, she's dead. Oh, don't you wish we spent some time making that death mean something?
Right. Yeah, and it's also, if I may add, that death is done in a profoundly stupid way for the character because it's like this giant water bear that they know is dangerous and indestructible, and Rekha Sharma says, "Open the force field. I've got one gun, and surely this will solve it." And
they do, and it murders her.
It does indeed murder her.
That sounds dumb. I hate it.
It's like
it was really dumb. But when that happens,
a real Darwin Award situation,
right?
Yeah, right. So when that happens, Michael says, shouts to the computer, emergency transport to the medical room or to the med center.
Oh yeah,
and they are instantly transported from their spot, without a transporter pad, to the med center, and so maybe that's what.
But she was transported in the same position, so
and plus that doesn't answer how he got the straps.
Right. Here's another. They stole little robots like Tig made, but they're on the wrong ship for that. But they've got droids that we're not seeing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and continue to not accept any of that.
That's fine.
Because Leland was just in that fucking chair, and then Control talked about needing a physical body. So fuck you. No, it was.
And we learned that there's 7,000 ships in the fleet. That's interesting.
Is that how does that stack up?
It's fine because we never get a number, so it's good to get one.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. Kind of puts things in perspective.
What makes me real nervous about this injecting machine nanobots into him, into the back of his head, and saying resistance is futile. Nope, sorry, not resistance is futile, but saying struggle is pointless.
Right.
And the robot bits turning up in his face is like, oh fuck this show. This gonna be a Borg origin story.
Surely not. They wouldn't.
They would, I think.
That would be so boring.
I was like, no, they're not gonna do that. But then when I read a recap and they pointed out that line, struggle is pointless. It's like, oh, it's not that far to jump to resistance is futile. And, yeah,
you said this before.
And nanoparticles. That's how the Borg turn you. They inject you with.
Oh, okay. But wait, I remember
you. Borgy.
Yeah. Wade, you've said before, you've complained about stuff that makes the universe seem smaller, and it actually specifically with regards to Control. And if that's what they're doing, they're like, oh, this is how the board came about. It was just an AI that humans made that
There's gonna be some time travel because the Borg do that. We know from First Contact.
Oh my God.
It sounds like a lot of elements of the Borg.
Right.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's where they're going.
My theory is, like, at the end of this episode, spoilers, they blow up the station on the planet where Leland is, and they presumably blow him up.
Because Leland, I don't know if you saw this, Glenn, like, they shoot Leland a lot of times and nothing does anything.
Oh, I didn't know. So the last thing I saw was Leland stabbing Tyler.
Okay.
And then I think I see, I just, like, right before we start recording is when he, teleported to where Dr. Burnham was. And that's pretty much where I left.
They have, like, a big firefight, and, like, he kills a couple of red shirts.
Of course.
But, like, they shoot him a bunch, and it just, like, he immediately heals, like, so the nanomachines
okay, so it's
healing him.
He's Vamp from Metal Gear Solid.
Exactly. So they
Right.
blow him up.
So
they blow up, like, the whole facility.
And I presume, like, they're gonna blow him up in the same way that we saw those, like, when he gets angry, he kind of starts to Hulk out with the gray in his veins and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They blow off parts of him. Maybe he loses an armor here, but then he's got robot nano parts that come in and form it, especially on his eye, so he's gonna look like a Borg.
So he'll rebuild. Yeah.
That's my theory.
So that didn't actually happen. His arm wasn't actually, like, blown off.
No, we haven't seen anything. All we saw was the facility on the planet blow up.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
They shoot it. They
torpedoes
bombard
at
it
him
from space,
and that was that.
So, but you're saying that, like,
presumably he's vaporized, but
I'm sure he's not vaporized.
we didn't see a body. But
yeah, that sounds absolutely like they are setting up, part half of his face is gone. And,
Right.
Oh my God. That would be so boring. Good God.
I know, like, well, and that's kind of where this episode left me, because then so much of it is Michael. Like, I don't care about them. I mean, Michael's. Some people love Michael so much, and
That's insane
fine.
to me.
I know,
all right,
because
fine. I don't get it.
I can understand liking Sonequa Martin Green a lot, because
I find her compelling. Yeah.
she's working the hell out of these scenes and
She
stuff.
is.
And I've said my own thing sometimes. But like, and then knowing that she's 10 when she gets adopted, that actually made more sense to me why she would be so emotional.
Right.
Because by the time you're 10, you're basically your personality is
You're a person.
mostly formed.
Yeah.
So she's not gonna. But
Right.
then
So
in
she wouldn't
selling,
have as
she's-
much Vulcan upbringing.
I don't know about that. I feel like anyone like raised for 10 plus years in a
you're
different...
you're gonna give that veneer.
Well, I think that's why she's bad at it.
Yeah.
I think that's why all of her
there you
logic
go.
jumps don't make sense, and she's just trying to logic her way through
Right.
problems.
Well,
And, the issue is that the show rewards her for it, but
Yeah,
Well,
and
I
you
just-
know what? I'm wondering, like, is it just me, or did baby Michael, when her parents are on the supernova watching it, she looks older to me than she did at the beginning of the season when she met baby Spock.
yeah.
I feel like Michael's like Michael and like her parents, like, flashbacks, like, the actors have changed like 10 times.
I mean, and I don't know. Maybe it could even be the same actor, but like
Well, I
they
think-
shot it 6 months apart, so she's a kid, so she grew up a little
Oh,
bit.
no,
I think
maybe.
it's maybe her hair too. Like that was a whole thing that like
Yeah.
the Vulcans won't let her have her natural hair, and she had her natural hair.
Right.
Flashback
maybe.
in this one.
She in the first, when she meets Amanda and Amanda says "bless you" for some reason, she's got her natural hair. And
She
then
does,
She's got
okay.
Then they give her the bowl cut, but
Right.
But they may have shot, even if I'm assuming they didn't switch. They could have switched actors. I don't know.
They
But even
could've.
if they didn't, they could have shot this like months apart.
Right.
It's just
Maybe. Who knows? It's that's of the many issues with this episode. That is
Yeah,
very low
like I
on
said,
the-
that might just be me. Like,
I guess that's the thing, is that like I don't actually have that many issues with the episode. I just think it's
yeah.
an indelicate execution.
So
I don't think it's much of it. Like it doesn't really make a blip on my radar when I feel like it should.
Right. Because it was the scene work, and the actors are doing good emotional work.
Right. All the pieces of the puzzle are there. Oh, and I'm sorry, Leland teleported back to the Section 31 ship.
okay, so he
At the
Wait,
end.
at the end, right?
Did he?
Right? They say like, oh, we've got a warp signature from planet
but you don't see
to
him.
the
so you don't-
Section 30. So we think so. Like I think it's him.
Oh, I thought that
mean-
was Ash stealing a pod to get back to the ship. I thought.
Oh yeah. So who all was on?
He didn't teleport from the surface back.
No,
he stole-
they. I'm pretty sure. Boy, I mean, I guess maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they said we're getting a warp from the planet to the Section 31 ship, and we're getting a distress signal from a pod.
Oh, I thought the pod was what they were getting the warp signal from, and that was Ash's ship coming off.
Interesting. Maybe. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I could be wrong too. I didn't get through a second rewatch. So
Yeah, I can rewatch the last like 5 minutes of the episode just to.
yeah. Oh, then the nerds are gonna be so mad at us. Like they didn't even know their shit.
They are. Right. You don't even know what happened. Yeah, well, after a fucking hour. Was that episode longer? I didn't check, but that episode felt fucking long.
No, it felt long to
was-
me, but I was also.
It was technically only 49 minutes, but
Was it really?
It felt longer to me too. I thought, yeah,
If you told me that episode was an hour and 15 minutes, I would have been like, boy, I believe it.
right.
They definitely packed a lot into it.
Yeah, I was like,
Ooh,
I'm getting to the
I-
49 minute mark, and I thought, and I checked it, and there's like 15 minutes left. It's like,
So
so yeah, a lot happens,
Yeah.
but it's just not compelling to me because I don't actually. It's the stuff that I don't care about as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so-
Michael's mom is like,
Right, she gets sucked back through the wormhole, but not in the suit.
yeah, that was weird.
The suit doesn't have a time crystal anymore, right? Like, she can't time travel again.
Well, that was the whole thing. Like, why doesn't she just get back into the suit? Like,
Yeah. that seems-
I think the time crystal, they fucked it up.
maybe, but
okay.
I don't
'Cause
know.
they're like-
I would hope she'd get back in it if nothing else because it had some kind of life support in it.
Right, she did
Well,
not.
yeah, I know. That's like, is she just getting sucked into space? Like
Right.
the gravitational abnormality didn't quite the technobabble reasons
That
for
was
it made.
all weird.
It was like, well, because the anchor is pulling her back through time,
Right.
But then time, I guess there's a gravitational aspect of time. I don't know enough about.
Well, time isn't fragile, all right?
Right.
Just make sure you know, time's not fragile.
Right. Oh yeah, because
Everybody thinks it is. It's not. All right.
it's brutal. It's
Shut up.
It's,
Everybody
yeah.
shut up. I did like that she actually liked their plan.
oh yeah.
Like, I thought the plan to put the data in the suit and send the suit forward. I was like, okay, good.
That's a good
Like,
plan.
She does not, the plan, I dug the plan, and that she isn't like, no, stop you, I can only do, that she was willing to accept
Right.
that this plan made sense. I was like, all right, like, thank you for humanizing her in some way, like, beyond just wanting to save everybody.
The whole thing. Well, the whole thing is like she's been jumping. I mean, this is why the character work kind of works a little bit for her and Michael. Like, Michael reads all her watches all her logs from the suit and learns that she's been trying to get back to Michael, but she's been jumping
Right.
hundreds and hundreds of times. And so by the time like Michael is like, they're like, oh, she's woken up, Pike. She wants you to come down. And Michael's like, we'll be right there. And Pike's like, sorry, she didn't ask for you.
Right.
She's my mother.
I'm not.
okay.
I'm not asking this as a daughter. I'm asking because it's totally logical. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
shut
Oh,
up.
that would be childish. But no, you are asking, and you are being childish. But,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
In a way that I get. Like, I'm not,
Yeah.
I don't blame her, but.
But
Yeah.
don't assert. I'm asserting my rights not as a daughter. That would be childish. But no, you kind of are.
Yeah.
But she's my mother.
I will also remind everyone that Spock is in this show and even in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
See, I don't like.
Right, well, that's the thing. Now that we've done all this work to get Spock to do this, all they do, like, you know, she justifies his dyslexia.
Oh, that's the thing that bugged.
That I did not care for.
neither did I.
Spock, I can talk to Spock because his Vulcan.
I needed a
logic and
dyslexic
human,
Vulcan.
That makes sense, and then his dyslexia is why he can understand the idea of me traveling through time and talking. Like, we all understand it. I don't have dyslexia.
Right.
I can figure out what the fuck is going on.
Right, I don't know, man. That was some future techno-babble magical Negro shit, man. Like, I did not. They're like, we needed the dyslexic Vulcan.
Yeah.
In order to, he was the only one I could communicate with. He was? Really? You were
Right,
speaking English? I don't know about any of this.
Like, just the idea of making Spock dyslexic is like, it's another one of those, like, let's give him a a
humanizing
tortured background
right, exactly.
for no reason. Like,
right, the Vulcans didn't accept him because he was dyslexic. They already didn't accept him because he was half human.
Yeah,
Why does he have to be dyslexic?
It's bananas.
It's a weird choice.
It's insane.
And they even said because of his half-human heritage, he was able to do this. So there was like, well, let's add one more thing just to, really make it.
I don't. They're just muddying so many waters.
Well, and it just goes to show that, like, well, for one thing, okay, so two things. One, Spock just has no actual purpose. Like, he has technically a purpose in the story, but, like, he doesn't really need to be there. Because, second point, we have a character, so Sean, this is from season 1, that is established to exist outside of the timeline in some form or factor, and that's Stamets. There's an episode where Harry Mudd gets some kind of, like, Dark Souls-y type, time loop technology.
He has a time crystal on that too, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, well, there you go. Well, so there, and the whole point of this episode was that Stamets was the only one who knew that, like, time was looping over and over again, and he's able to, like, save people. And so the fact that it wasn't Stamets, I mean, you know what I think? I have a little conspiracy corner here. I think in the original draft of, like, the overarching plot of this season, Stamets was that person who
maybe
Dr. Burnham reached out to for that same reason, but they were like, okay, the ratings aren't great. We want to goose
in here.
Exactly. We want to goose those, CBS All Access numbers. So,
a
purely a theory, but
it's not a bad one. I mean,
dig it. I don't,
I don't trust that the previous showrunners had a great version. They thought this season was going to be about the conflict between faith and religion.
We haven't talked about how that has completely evaporated.
Well, good. Yeah, I'm glad
that's because I think that's a too many cooks showrunners. It's
that's true.
Chaos on the bridge situation.
These new showrunners streamlining the show's philosophy is fine with me. I have no issue with that. Star Trek doing religion versus science. I see no value.
Maybe, but if it was something,
DS9 did a little bit of that already.
There's an ambition.
It's not versus, making it a versus science thing, whatever.
Well, doing a season about it like just feels preposterous. Like I don't.
Well, something they could have done, and it seemed like they were kind of doing it first, because I thought the whole thing with Spock was that it wasn't so much that it was time travel; it was that he was confronted with something that he could not explain scientifically. And that's since been, shown not to be the case. But, like, if that was the issue, that, like, okay, this season's about, things that are happening that science cannot, at least the science of the, current age cannot explain. Right. And if the, last episode reveal is that, this is, like, hyper advanced time travel tech, then, like, maybe not last episode, but you get what I'm saying. Like, don't, like, reveal that first off. Like, have it be, like, again, like, they thinking, like, I mean, this may, like, the Clarkian thing is, like, this may as well be magic. It's so advanced.
I mean, they waited at least half the season to throw in its time travel, so, but...
Yeah, that's true, but, like, then, I don't know. I think you're right, Wade, that it's, like, they've changed showrunners, like, 8,000 times, and, like, so the even though they may have tried to keep things consistent, like, story-wise, like, it's clearly reflecting several different approaches over the course of the season, and
I think the people at the beginning were in over their heads, and then maybe Kurtzman would. I hate to give that guy props, but maybe he tightened some stuff down. And now I feel like the room is Kurtzman's still technically the showrunner, but I feel like maybe the room's taken over to figure out, and he can probably rely on the room a little bit better than because they I think know their stuff, and then. Now we have Michelle Paradise in there, and she's the showrunner going forward.
Right.
But speaking of time, we get a time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite that I was chose to put it right, or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And then Hamlet, hell yeah. I was like, don't groan.
I don't.
In a different context, I might have appreciated the Hamlet, hell yeah, if that was, like, indicative of Michael's character. Like, if she was someone who was, like,
a surfer bro.
Yeah.
Not that.
Like, I get Star Trek is love throwing, like, Hamlet and Macbeth or Shakespeare quotes in. That's fine. But they're, like, it's like the same as that's fucking cool or something. It's like,
Right.
It's just like trying too hard.
Well, it's you know who it is. It's the guy in your MFA class who is always carrying a copy of Infinite Jest with him, who because he wants you to know that he is reading it.
Yeah.
You know, I've read that book twice. No.
I
have too. We're on a podcast where 2/3 of the hosts have read Infinite Jest, which makes sense.
2/3 of these dumbass white guys have read Infinite Jest, and they want to tell you about it.
Right. We're white guys doing a Star Trek podcast. Of course we've read Infinite
I
Jest.
should clarify, not only have I never read it, I have actually literally no conception of what it actually is beyond
Tennis.
the type of people I know who read it.
Yeah.
It's about tennis.
Tennis and rehab.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And entertainment. It's about, but whatever. That's a whole other pod that nobody wants to listen to from us.
No, dear God.
Yeah.
I could describe what I think it is,
No.
just from the name.
I like the medical badges. I like the badge on the medical, that Hugh was wearing.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
talking about fashion a little bit. I don't know. I like those.
Sure.
The white
I feel like
badge with
Kristen-
the cross on it.
Yeah, I like it better than the black blazer.
Well, I feel like Kristen from Toronto has made us very mindful of the fashion choices.
Yeah, I don't know.
show in
I like
particular.
I like that. I think it's obviously stupid that Section 31 has badges that show that they're in Section 31. But I like
so
that
stupid.
the medical crew has badges.
Right.
They also get the TNG badges that are communicators, which they don't have in the original series because they're top secret.
Oh, the
that-
badges
see,
are
I-
communicators. That's cool.
Only for Section 31.
Well,
that's
I like if that's intentional. I like if they do stuff like that, where it's like, this is something we don't see until later in the timeline. But
Yeah.
since it's Section 31, they get it earlier.
I mean, that's fine. I just don't. It's fine. They know what they're doing with it because they called it out at one point.
Wade's
on
broken.
the show.
Wade just doesn't. This has broken Wade down.
Yeah, I guess it has. This is gonna be.
I was enjoying myself.
I mean, I
I
wasn't
think,
hating.
I don't know.
I wasn't hating this episode. I mean, I feel bad that I've yelled a lot on this podcast already about it, but
I've yelled
just
a lot
it's-
on this podcast, so I'm right there with you.
yeah.
I just think I don't know, man. You've watched DS9. I don't think serialization. I think serialization is the way Star Trek makes sense. I don't know.
I mean, this is as good a serialization as they've done on Discovery. I mean,
Yeah.
DS9 steps into it, but it's like a late '90s show where the producers actually didn't want them to do serialization, so it's a weird in betweener for DS9.
I just think these should be procedural. I don't know.
I mean, that's what the original series is, and it works. It's everything's.
Yeah, but I applaud them trying to break the form a little bit. I'm for that.
Sure.
But
When you get bogged down in it and you're not having fun space adventures,
right? If they
then, I'm not, and that's the thing, I don't want the whole tone of the show to be lighthearted and silly. I don't need that, but the stakes in this are so astronomically huge, comically high stakes that I can't enjoy myself.
right, they're so big that I kind of glaze over, and also. I mean, we should get through this episode, I guess, but that's one of the things I don't like about another thing I don't like bringing about Spock into this. The biggest story of Spock's entire life is one that we've never heard of. He saved the whole fucking universe.
Right, this is insane.
Instead of just Earth or the planet or the Federation or anything. So it's
Right, Spock never talks about the time his dyslexia saved the universe.
Well,
Yeah,
so this is a good opportunity for me to at least kind of and I'm not joking, I really will try to do this very quickly, summarize the meat of the episode that I saw.
Yes.
So you have Control, Nano controlling Leland. You've got Dr. Burnham talking to Michael about her journey and looking at her mission logs and stuff. And the key thing is that the data in the sphere, as we've learned in the last episode, has data that will let Control become sentient or become conscious, which seems it already is.
It seems more and more like it already is. And
Right, what do you mean? Control put a man in a chair, impossibly, put nanomachines in him, and murdered some people, and almost did the whole thing, and manipulated fucking Space Hitler, and,
Right.
what do you mean? What
Right.
else does Control need?
it's if attaining consciousness is the magic key that it needs to wipe out all sentient life somehow. Like, you don't need consciousness to do that, I don't think.
Yeah,
No.
it's doing just fine up to this point with violence.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, it can create indestructible, like beings.
Yeah,
Out of itself.
I mean, as once again, Reapers from Mass Effect.
Yes.
there's antimatter blast to take out all the sentient life, but like I don't think you need sentience to do that. Like
No. Well, but so anyway, so Dr. Burnham's mission is to prevent Control from getting the data from the sphere, which I think is stupid because if she's able to time travel, why doesn't she just go to when they made Control and destroy the computers? Or
she's probably tried that. She's tried
maybe. I mean, and if that's
the implication is that she's tried all of the obvious stuff we'd think she's tried, and now she's settled on just it's the data. Like the data is the only it's your Doctor Who fixed point in time. Whatever, like all she can manipulate is the data,
Well, and that's honestly to me the big reveal of this episode is we do kind of get a reveal of what kind of time travel we're dealing with here, because she says, "I have done this thousands of times. I've seen you die thousands of times," and like so we're in kind of a Groundhog Day, Dark Souls type situation where like
she can do it over and over again.
Yeah,
as long as she goes back. She can go back again.
The character bit that works in this episode is that she's cold and unfeeling.
Right.
And Michael wants her mom back, and her mom's like, "Look, man, I don't have time for this anymore. I've seen you die enough."
I like that dynamic. And then for her to soften up,
Yeah,
at
so
the
that's
end, like that all makes sense to me.
That's a good journey to go on.
Yes.
Except I just didn't.
Harry and the Hendersons. She's trying to Harry and the Hendersons, Michael, for the record.
Yeah, of course. Right, because she's like you're just another Michael. Like. I there's so many Michaels that I've gone through this with. I've watched die, and like if I don't do this thing, you die again. I get it.
It's just Morty's killing Morty's, man.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I understood that reference. But yeah, but that's the big reveal is that like what we're seeing right now, we really don't actually know that this is the Prime Universe. Like it's it's the Prime Universe, but like we don't know if it's like the timeline.
Right? Is it the timeline that's going to survive?
The
Control, and I mean yes, but like
but like this
right? I mean that's what all the edgelords are waiting for to not be the original canon timeline. It's like
if she has to do this again.
Right. I just don't want them to be right.
It kind of feels like that's what they're setting up. Like
I don't like time travel. Yeah. Time travel lets you play all these stupid games, and it Back to the Future does a good job telling a story within the bounds of time travel because it isn't complicated time travel.
Right.
Yeah.
Time travel has to be like simple, and you just tell a story within it. Or like it becomes too complicated and your story doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, well, same with Terminator.
You have to set the parameters.
Yeah, I don't like you can set all these rules, but now you've just made like a complicated time travel world where like this has happened a million times. So what the fuck do I care?
Right.
Yeah.
Like I guess we've established that. Like this, maybe she can't come back again. Is that what we've done? Like
she's like, I have seen you die 100 times, and I will watch 100 more. Sorry,
right? Exactly.
Wait, was that 500 miles?
Yeah. Just She said that's a line. I have seen you die 100 times, and I will see you 100 more.
I've seen you die 1,000 times, and I'll see you die 1,000 more.
Yeah, okay, just to watch you die.
We'll workshop it. We'll get the lyrics right.
Musical improv, guys.
I'm gonna have to cut that down because that was rough.
Trained improvisers. I'll reiterate.
Oh boy,
not musical improv.
No,
it's because it comes from the soul, man.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Who gives a shit?
And then they're like, we have to power the suit to send it in the future. And they're like, wait a minute. We have something that will power a power source. And I'm like, oh, they're going to go back to the mycelial network. No.
The dark matter.
The dark matter that we also forgot about.
Yeah, I genuinely have, like, when they says, like, oh, right, that was like a big MacGuffin in the first or second episode.
Let me ask you a question that I think I know the answer to. Did they do that?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it clear that they did that?
it's clear that they said that's what they did. But they
Right,
didn't
okay.
show-
All right, good. I'm just going to say, I never saw that little floating space rock
Nope.
come back again. So, like,
Nope.
did that work? I guess it did.
Unclear.
I guess, well, it worked, but then she's like, no, you can't send the suit back without me in it. But then she just lets it go. It shoots off, and she's Dr. Burnham, Kima from The Wire. She gets sucked off without the suit, so hopefully
Yeah,
not.
no, she got sucked in. She's gone.
but not with the suit. So they're like, well, she's gone, and she doesn't have the suit, so we're never going to see her again, probably.
Right.
But we know we probably will through some sort of shenanigans.
Right. Probably not next episode, though, because next episode we're going to talk about Ash's baby.
Kronos. Yes.
Oh, is that what the next week's episode is?
Next week is back to the. I guess they have to go back to the Klingons for a time crystal or something. I don't know.
Oh, because they were working on
Because the
time.
Klingons were also working
right.
on time travel. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Now we have to work together. And you know they showed that baby.
Yeah, you know they did, and then Ash is.
Oh, the Voke and
Yeah.
what's her name?
Yes.
Yeah, Laurel, and he's like, I don't think I can go back there. You don't understand. They think I'm dead, and they're like, we don't care, Ash. You're coming anyway. It's like,
So Ash did not die. I was unclear on whether that. I assumed he didn't, but like
No, he
it
got
was.
stabbed, but he escaped.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nobody of note died.
Okay.
No,
That's.
yeah.
I assume.
I thought for a second, maybe they were going to kill Braceface, but they
right,
didn't.
right,
Oh, Non.
yeah,
She had a close call, like with the Arium episode. So I feel like.
right. Nobody died that's going to deserve a funeral. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
there's no funeral next episode. They won't even mention it.
No,
Oh well, it's a fine Star Trek tradition.
yeah,
I like the. I think Glenn, you didn't see this. They had a cool. Michelle Yeoh and Leland had a cool fist fight. It was.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I will finish watching this episode when I can. It's just,
Her
you know,
physicality's just so good, man.
yeah.
I
Like,
know, she's-
if you can make Michelle Yeoh fight, we'll do it.
Yeah, you need a reason to do it, and boy, yeah, it's fucking cool to watch.
You know, just side note, a show that I just, like, someone in my family was watching this weekend. I'm traveling to visit them. They were watching that Marco Polo show that Netflix made a couple years ago.
Really? Anybody watch that?
Evidently someone in my family does.
Yeah, that feels like a show that like an old grandpa that watches the History Channel would watch.
And,
sense
well,
to me.
it was my grandfather that was watching it, so...
I tell you, see, I guess that's yep.
But the scene I saw was like a fight scene of, like, you know, someone fighting off an assassin, and I was gotta say, fight choreography was very good.
Yeah.
I
I've
believe
heard that
it.
about that show. Yeah,
That was like I think Netflix's first attempt at like a Game of Thronesy type thing.
Yeah, and it did not land.
Yeah, but just wanted to point that out. Like, surprisingly good fight choreography.
Yeah, I feel like these places can afford it. You know.
No, well, yeah, you know, everyone just needs to hire. Who's the guy that did the choreography for like Matrix and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Right.
that
Yuan
guy.
Wo Ping, I think his name is.
I buy it.
yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, he may have done that, Marco Polo,
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I can see that. I can see
Wouldn't
Netflix
surprise
like.
me. Yeah.
but this is not that show.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get us off track. I'm sorry.
No,
That's okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this episode.
I have nothing else to.
We went over all the notes I had.
Dr. Burnham is like, hey, I know you love my daughter, Space Hitler. And she's like, I don't love your daughter. I'm a Space Hitler. She's like, no, you love my daughter. It's like, all right. But just tell you what, mother to mother, promise you'll take care of her because Leland calls me an unacceptable risk to the mission, or Control does.
Oh, right, and
she's
that's
like,
what reveals that Leland is Control.
Yeah. And that's...
Right,
Then
because when he says it to her first, she goes, "Interesting choice of words." And I'm like, it's not that interesting a choice of words. It's ugly,
But it will
someone
be.
would say. Right. That will be relevant later.
Yes. Put a pin in those words.
I guess the relationship between Giorgio and Michael is too maternal for them to fuck.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yes, that would
Disappointing.
not be.
Right. She was her... Because I don't know if she... I don't remember in season 1 if she has other children, but she adopted Michael, I know.
Well, doesn't she mention at one point in this season that she has children?
I think so.
I think
did she like
'cause
murder her children in the...
No, she said like I think it's when they like are like saving Ash's son that she basically was like, kids, like, I had someone else take care of mine. So I think the implication was that she has children, but like they just are not in the picture at all. Like they just like went off somewhere.
The only one she cares about is Michael.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe.
Right. And then Leland's whole kind of like reaching out, like you feel maternal towards Michael, but do you want to compete with a time traveler? You would only be the second most powerful woman in the universe. Like, I don't think she is that right now. She was in the mirror.
No, it's insane. And like,
she's
I don't know, Star Trek.
She's not the Emperor anymore. She's
right.
She's a spy in a federation that doesn't acknowledge her existence. Oh, except they do, because they don't.
Like, look, let's not encourage, like women fighting women for power, like let's prop up female friendship, Star Trek.
Sure, right? Of course.
Come on. I don't know. I don't appreciate
it was weird.
That. Let me just a quick observation from the outsider perspective, just like from Star Trek in general. I was shook when Giorgio referred to it as like the Prime Universe. Like I thought that was just something like nerds use to discuss.
Right.
Oh, did she say that?
They did when she was talking to Dr. Michael Mom. She was like, you might be thinking of my Prime Universe counterpart.
Oh, you're right. She did.
I was like, you guys call it that? I definitely thought that was just like what the fans call it for canon reasons.
Right. That might be the first time they referred to it as such.
Oh, really? Okay. I definitely I don't remember.
I'd buy that because like what reason would someone have to refer it to that? Right. At all, because that would imply that they knew the...
Yeah.
Well, that seems like wild to me that they called it that.
I mean, especially that the person not from this one called it the Prime.
To you, it's your Prime universe is the mirror universe.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's because they do... I think they officially refer to it as the Terran universe, right? Like on the Prime side?
I don't know.
I don't know. They say the Terran Empire.
The Terran Empire.
Yeah. They're not super important.
I think
but
that's just the writers either slipped or just like we're finally like we'll just call it.
Like,
right. I mean, I don't know. We don't call our universe something because it's just the universe.
But I will say that, there's a Futurama joke about this where there's two universes and they argue about which one gets to be Universe 1.
Right. Yeah.
And so maybe I would love that joke like recycled for this. I'd look the other way.
Yeah.
So I think they say this universe feels more like a B anyway.
Right. If she had like a throwaway line like you might know my Prime universe counterpart, or as I know it, the mirror, like something.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like, fuck you. I'm like you said, we're the Prime universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Check your privilege.
Yeah. There's a lot of things like the emotional beats mostly work in this episode.
I agree.
There's some head scratchers of like just like the technobabble side of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but you know what? And that would be fine if I actually really this serialized story it's too big for me to actually care about it.
At some point, the stakes get so high that it's gobbledygook. You know, like I don't know, man. Like that show, The Leftovers. Like that. The premise of that show is 2% of the population's wiped out. That's like enough that I'm like, okay, like that would affect people. I get that. But when the stakes are just like every single sentient life form dies, I'm like, really? Like all of them? But then no, like they don't, because you're there and you get survivors to come to your space colony, you said. Right. So like there's still sentient life, so that's not actually the case, but it becomes nothing.
Well, no, the survivors that go to her space colony are the people from the planet in episode 2. She's talking about...
Oh, right, the Terralesian people. She did mention those.
Whether that's the planet that she jumped 950 years to and she takes them back there, but not, so I don't know. But... That's, Terra Elysium is the planet where...
I understand, okay.
The Luddite community is.
Yeah, no, I got you. Okay, I missed that.
So, I mean, it's too big to really matter. And, like, if you do want, like, a procedural... I mean, usually I save it for bonus pods, but the Orville is basically TNG.
That's fair, yeah.
Visually it seems very similar.
Yeah, and I haven't even caught up on the season, but they do a big, huge two-parter with stakes, and they're not stakes to save the entire universe. They're a little bit smaller, but it works.
That's all you need. That's,
And that's usually what Star Trek has done in the past, but they want to go so big in this.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Yeah, do other Treks, do this giant,
usually it's like
huge stakes.
The Federation and Earth is in trouble, so...
Right.
And there's like a couple episodes where there's something that like will eventually become a threat to everything, like Doomsday Machine. The episode that Benny watched on that one episode where he watched like one of each.
Yeah.
That one is about just like some automated doomsday weapon that's just like traveling planet to planet. Actually looks kind of like a Reaper.
Right, and it's going to destroy a planet at a time, and that's enough to like, well, holy shit,
we gotta deal with this.
But the eventual stakes being that like if no one stops it, it will like just go to everything over time.
Yeah.
It's Unicron.
Yeah, basically, it's Orson Welles in the Transformers movie.
Exactly.
I just watched Bumblebee on a plane.
Yeah, I'm excited to check that out. It should be streaming.
Does it have Orson Welles in it?
Does not have
voicing a planet eating planet.
Actually, you know what? Fun fact. That's another thing. I missed like the last 5 minutes of because the flight landed before.
Glenn, God damn it! Finish something.
Yeah, I don't know. They saved the world.
I'll bet they do.
Yep, safe assumption.
But not permanently, because it's a prequel to the Transformers.
It's a prequel, but it also feels like kind of a soft reboot, like because they definitely like tweak some things.
Do they reset the timeline?
Is it
no?
Do they reset the timeline?
I don't think.
Is it the Prime universe?
Nothing.
Is it a mirror universe?
Nothing canon like that, but it's just like everything looks coherent. It's not like the Michael Bay ones where it's like just
one thing that I might care less about than this storyline
is Transformers.
and what Alex Kurtzman did to that franchise.
Yeah, fair.
There you go. I didn't even intend for that. That's
fair.
But
yeah, I don't know. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, where else do we go from this? We didn't even do a quick synopsis. We're just all over the place.
Glenn got like halfway through it. I mean, we talked about all of the salient points. The episode's called Perpetual Infinity.
Yeah, did Jamiroquai pop in your head for some reason?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted someone to wear a goofy hat and start to Perpetual Infinity, right on a conveyor belt going back and forth.
Yeah.
If they called this episode Virtual Insanity, like I wouldn't have liked it, but I would have appreciated it a little bit more.
That would have been fun. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But they're sending the suit into Perpetual Infinity.
Yeah, it's like always going to the future. Like that, fine, I buy that, but like, whatever.
Well, yeah, and the tech that, if they send it in front of the anchor point, for some reason the wormhole will keep sending it forward instead of back to the anchor point.
Some kind of like feedback loop or something.
Okay, sure. That seems weird, but I'll buy it because you said
I
that's
accept
what it
it.
is.
It was Stamets' idea, wasn't it?
It was.
There you go. That goes to your point about him being the one who understands time stuff.
It's because Spock has another quote. He quotes.
Oh, that's right.
He quotes Shakespeare, hell yeah, and then he says, Lao Tzu said, the softest water can do the most damage or whatever. And they're like, wait, what if we go with the flow of time? And
I just realized Spock is the guy that's carrying around Infinite Jest.
Oh, yeah.
Spock's read Infinite Jest at least 3 times.
Yeah, he has. And then he says, science is fun, or I like science.
I like science, which was like, again, that annoyed me. But
yeah,
you know what? That's my people. They're like, people like it.
Spock. Okay, if they really wanted Spock on the season, they should have had him been a recurring guest with no connection to the actual stakes. Like he should have been a guest who occasionally like comes in and be like, okay, there's some separate thing, and then they'll cross over with Discovery, and then somehow he's like, oh well, you're dealing with this problem. Here's my take on it. Blah, just straight crossover. No giant stakes. No trying to redefine his history. Just like, hey, here's Spock. He's Michael's adopted brother. He's playing.
Just have episode where like they run into the Enterprise when they're doing shit, and then let me look, man. Maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe whatever. I don't know. Why isn't Michael the captain? Like why isn't Michael just the captain? Like I feel like I can. I know like how to give a shit about a captain. Like. I know the stakes of being a captain, and it's Star Trek, and the captain is my anchor point.
They're building to it. This season will end with.
I know, but why just make her the fucking captain? I don't even know what she does on this ship.
She's the science officer.
Oh, shut the fuck up!
I'll tell you, it's because it's the too many cooks, too many shit. Like the original Brian Fuller probably definitely had a whole different vision for the show where we were going to follow this. Person through their career, and now it's just like now it's the Michael Burnham is Awesome show, and so we're following her, and you know what, and this dealing with her mother issues is in keeping with the themes of the character that they've established through 2 seasons of the show. I just don't. It's just not compelling for me. Because I want to watch them talk about Starfleet stuff, not why Starfleet, and Starfleet stuff means encountering stuff that's not Starfleet stuff. But this is all about the computer in Section 31 of Starfleet, which it wasn't supposed to be of Starfleet even, or whatever, coming to sentience and becoming a Reaper from Mass Effect, which is like, that's not a Star Trek story that I'm interested in. But
well, I mean, in general, just the AI designed to protect us decides it has to kill us is such a boring villain arc.
Right?
Why is Star Trek just recycling Avengers storylines? Like, what are we doing here? Just introduce a fucking alien. Just give us a fucking evil alien.
That's what the big reveal of the 7 signals gives us an opportunity.
Right,
for.
It's gonna be the new evil alien.
Right, or maybe it'll be the Iconians that people theorized before.
Sure.
Maybe. Well, I guess.
What was the appeal? I don't know why I've decided to take this episode to talk so much about, like, where this show stands in the context of Star Trek. Why make it like a prequel to other Trek shows? Like,
that's just the mess they got put in.
I got you. Yeah, okay. Because if you said it later, like, if you were to introduce a new alien race in this show, you have to explain why they're not in the show later. Like,
right. Well, there's just so many races you can say they blend in. Yeah, I mean, this is
right. Okay.
This is an argument Bucky has made a lot, and
I gotcha.
Yeah. So, and he's right. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. All right.
I don't either.
Let's fucking wrap up. I want to go watch Widows.
All right. Yeah, I think people are probably exasperated with us yelling about this episode.
Probably. I'm sorry I yelled so much.
Oh,
I didn't mean
no.
to.
I mean, look, man, I'm not going to call the kettle black here.
Yeah.
So,
this episode infuriated me.
Yeah. But I guarantee someone's going to tell us we're too hard on it.
Well,
yeah.
But I mean,
hopefully it'll win us back next week.
Well, maybe not. I mean, that's just
it probably won't.
That's just the pool we're swimming in, boys.
I mean, fine. Going back to Klingon world and hanging out with that political baby might do something for me. I don't know.
Give me that baby.
Give me that baby.
It's just I want to believe in this show, and
wait,
that's another sci-fi property, Glenn.
Wait a minute.
What?
That baby's supposed to be on a shrine in a
like a nunnery, isn't it?
In a temple somewhere.
Sorry, I was doing X-Files. I want to believe, but
sorry.
But yeah, go on. Move on.
I was just like, it dawned on me, like, wait a minute, we're bringing the baby back. I thought the baby was done with.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh right, wait a minute, yeah. Right, she killed the baby, but it wasn't really the baby.
Right.
Right, how are we bringing the baby back?
I thought you might be done with that baby, but that baby ain't done with you.
What the yeah, that baby, no. I don't know. All right.
But give me, we've got like, how many episodes left? They're going to go to every one of the signals that are left.
Right.
So one's going to
was this episode 11? Are there 3 episodes left only?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
They said I think they say in the upcoming, this is the 4th signal? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out. They'll finish the side quests
Yeah, the side quests are more interesting than the main story plot. So
100%.
Listen, I can't get into this again. They set up a device to have a perfect procedural season, and then in the penultimate episode, you reveal that it's the Iconians and that they're evil, or that it's the Blurgerdurg and they're good. Like, you did it. You had it. You did it.
Sean, I'm just reaching over. I'm reaching over to clutch your head and just hold it in my bosom and straight say, "It's okay, Sean. It'll be okay."
Most shows go so far out of, if they're not police shows.
It's okay.
Or
it's okay. I'm kissing you on the forehead now, Sean. I'm stroking your back.
It's gonna be all right. Why they're procedural.
It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this. All right.
Star Trek Discovery did it. They devised a good procedural plot device. I would have liked it. It could have been done well, and then they fucking wasted it on time travel Kiba.
Yep, you're also the lane of the show now. Like, as the show betrayed. No, that's fine. I mean, none of these are I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I know.
This is what this. Welcome to the game, man. This Discovery.
I'm so mad. I'm just like watching the potential like ooze out of what actually we got, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah. Oh, I've been where you are, man.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right.
Wrap this up. I love Greek food.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. That was that plug.
Yeah, I'm done.
We've got that QED&D show coming up next month.
Yep, April 17th, 7:30 p.m. at QED in Astoria.
All right.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at QED&D.
Yeah, and Kickers Podcast for the Kickers of Elves on Twitter, and kickersofelves.com/Patreon, to where you can find us yell about other things and also not yell about some other things. I think there's even a bonus up there with you guys talking about Oreos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's all sorts of stuff up there. We just finished a Hashish and Superiority Champagne Room reading series on Alan Moore's Watchmen. So we got a lot of stuff up there.
Ooh, I want to listen to that.
So all that stuff, if you want to shoot us a voicemail, hit us up at 917-408-3898. Do all the other stuff that every other podcast wants you to do. And how are we going to... What do we want to close with this time?
Fuck Star Trek.
I was going to say, how did he get in that chair?
Yeah.
How?
All right.
This has been a podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher or Caster or Fuckcast or Podsucker. Review us on iTunes.
Boy, sorry that made me so mad.